Northern Australia, Stone Country. A hiker approaches the escarpment just as the sun sets. He notices something strange. The air has gone completely still, with no wind and no birds, just silence. And then he hears it, the faint sounds coming from within the boulder itself, like blowing, as if something is creating holes in solid rock. He freezes, because emerging from the stone are shapes, thin, impossibly thin, moving with animals like kangaroos, goannas, pythons, as if leading them out for the night hunt. The aboriginal people of Northern Australia have warned about this for 50,000 years. Never approach the escarpments after dark, because that's when the Mimi come out. In Arnhem Land and Kakadu in Northern Territory, ancient sandstone cliffs rise like prehistoric walls. Time and weather have carved them into massive boulders, caves, and crevices. This is Stone Country, and it's been inhabited for over 50,000 years, making it one of the oldest continuously occupied landscapes on Earth. For all that time, people have shared these rocks with something else, the Mimi spirits. According to tradition, the Mimi were already here when the first humans arrived. They are described as fairy-like beings, tall, extremely thin, and elongated. Mesh thin, the elders say, so delicate that a strong gust of wind could snap them in half. Because of this fragility, the Mimi spend most of their time living inside rock crevices and huge boulders. They hide there during the day, protected from the wind. But at night, that's when everything changes. At night, the Mimi emerge. The Mimi aren't just mysterious spirits hiding in rocks. They're humanity's first teachers. Before Aboriginal people came to Northern Australia, the Mimi had human forms. They were the original inhabitants of the Stone Country. When the first people arrived, they didn't know how to survive in this harsh landscape. They didn't know how to hunt kangaroos. They didn't know how to prepare meat or control fire. They had no idea which plants were safe or how to find water. So the Mimi taught them. The knowledge was passed through the old medicine men, who learned directly from the Mimi during sacred encounters. And these medicine men would teach the tribal elders, who would then pass the knowledge to chosen members of the community. The Mimi showed them how to hunt and trek, how to cook meat properly, how to control fire, not just for warmth, but for cooking and survival. They taught people how to weave, how to fish, which tools to make, and how to make them. They taught ceremonial songs and dances, sacred knowledge that would be preserved for thousands of generations. And most importantly, the Mimi brought humanity the knowledge of painting. They created the first rock paintings, and through those paintings, they taught Aboriginal people how to paint on both rock and bark, not just the technique, but the purpose of painting. Because without a written language, painting was the only way to pass down history and religion, the only way to ensure the future generations would know of the deeds of the ancestral beings who walked the earth during the Dreamtime. If you visit Nolandri Rock or other sites in Kakadu today, you can still see those paintings, thousands of them, some dating back as far as 50,000 years, among the oldest continuous artistic traditions in human history. The Mimi figures are unmistakable, impossibly elongated, arms reaching down to the knees, bodies so thin they look like they could just blow away. Match thin, just as the stories describe. They don't walk. They seem to float. They're always in motion, hunting, dancing, performing ceremonies. Often they're painted alongside animals, like kangaroos, wallabies, crocodiles, fish and birds. The tradition says the Mimi painted these first images themselves, that they were the original artists, recording their own existence and teaching humanity how to do the same. Layer upon layer of paintings cover the rock walls, created across countless generations, where the Mimi figures persist throughout, thin, graceful, and eternal. These paintings aren't just art, they're memory, they're history. They're the only record of 50,000 years of human experience in this land. And they're reminders that the Mimi are still here, watching from within the rocks. So what exactly are the Mimi? They're spirits that have lived inside these escarpments since the beginning of time. Aboriginal people believe they're still here today. Tiny, match-thin beings hiding in rock crevices and huge boulders. The Mimi are generally calm in nature, even gentle, but they're also extremely shy. They spend all day hiding. Then at night, when the world is quiet and the intruders have left, they peek out. The stories say they blow holes in solid rock to get out, creating passages through solid stone. And they don't come out alone. The Mimi appear with their pets. Crocodiles, kangaroos, goannas, bandicoots, rock wallabies, butterflies, fish, birds, turtles, brolgas, barramundi, small rock pythons. All these animals live in the rocks and waterways with the Mimi. And all night long, the Mimi hunt and fish. They hold ceremonies. They move through the landscape with their animal companions. And then at dawn, they return to their boulder homes and pull the rock doors shut behind them. Now here's what's important. The Mimi don't mind if people hunt these animals for food, because that's natural. It's survival. But if you kill or injure one of their pets without a reason, that's when they get upset. And you do not want to upset them. Aboriginal people are taught to respect the Mimi's privacy completely. You stay away from the escarpments at night. You don't approach the boulders after sunset. You don't disturb the rock crevices. And you definitely do not harm any animal if it's not for food. The Mimi taught humanity how to survive. They shared their knowledge freely, but in return, they asked for one thing: to be left alone. If you show respect, the Mimi are harmless. They will ignore you, but they might even also help you, guiding you to water, warning you of danger, ensuring your hunts are successful. But if you're careless, if you intrude on their space, if you damage the sacred paintings or harm the animal companions, the consequences come quietly. You might lose your way in familiar territory. Storms might arrive without warning. Your tools might break, water sources might dry up, the land itself seems to turn against you. Small misfortunes like this will accumulate until you're forced to leave, because the Mimi do not attack directly. They just need to withdraw their protection, because they taught people how to survive in this land, and they can just as easily take that knowledge away again. 50,000 years. That's how long the Mimi have been part of this landscape. That's how long their images have been painted on the rocks. That's how long Aboriginal people have been here telling these stories and teaching respect for these spirits. The paintings at Norlandia Rock and throughout Kakadu stand as proof, not just of artistic skill, but of an unbroken cultural memory, stretching back to the very beginning of human habitation in Australia. The Mimi taught humanity how to survive, and how to create, how to remember, and they're still out here, somewhere in the rocks, continuing their ancient routines. And some might call them folklore, myth, legends. But in some stone country, where rocks older than civilization tower above the landscape, where paintings that's 50,000 years old still watch from the walls, where the night brings sounds that can't quite be explained. Maybe the line between story and reality isn't as clear as we think. The Mimi are still here, hiding in the stone, waiting for nightfall. And if you respect them, if you leave the escarpments alone after dark, if you honor the sacred sites, they will continue to protect the land just as they always have.